Oh my goodness. Oh, Baltimore.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs has concluded, and now we have to talk about the AFC and NFC championship game, and we're going to go into what happened in these games while giving my picks for these two games. If you guys do enjoy, drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's jump straight into it. So the first game we're going to talk about is the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, there was some questionable plays that happened in this game, especially with a questionable late hit on Patrick Mahomes. A lot of people don't seem to believe or agree with the call. I don't really agree with the call. I don't think it was that big of a hit or was warranting a flag. Ultimately, the Chiefs still ended up winning this game 23-14. Patrick Mahomes and CJ Stroud both didn't really have spectacular games, but they played solid football and did as much as they both possibly could. Travis Kelce had 7 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown. He clearly had the best game of any player out there on the field, and Houston still has a bright future, but injuries just caught up to this team, and ultimately is what they did the Texans in. The Chiefs continue to do what they've always done, and that's winning the divisional. Patrick Mahomes has literally never lost before the AFC title game, which is actually insane. And Kansas City is always going to be the team to go through, and now they're going to the next round. So with that being said, who can say they're actually surprised? The next game was the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. I'm going to admit, if you guys watched my last video, you would know that I said this. The Lions and the Commanders. Now, I think this might be the most lopsided game, and I'm going to go with the Lions. I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to stop that run defense, and the Lions do like running the ball. I own it. I was entirely wrong about that entire game. The Commanders played amazing. They won this game 45-31. Jaden Daniels he might be the greatest rookie quarterback of all time. He just looks so calm and poised in the pocket, and when he's playing games in big situations, going into Detroit and putting up 45 was not going to be an easy thing to do. It's one of the hardest stadiums to play in, and only 22 for 31, 299 yards and 2 touchdowns is just insane. He played amazing. Jared Goff had 3 interceptions in that game, however, and it was just inexcusable, some of the throws that he was actually making in that game. And the Lions just outright got outplayed. Like, just to put it into perspective, the Lions, literally, who have been an offensive juggernaut all season, just could not stop Washington at all. I mean, you see it with them putting up 45 points. So I am really interested to see what the Lions are going to do in the offseason. I'm probably going to make a video about that. But the Commanders are in the NFC title game, and if you had told any Washington fans, they probably wouldn't have even believed you that they would have won a playoff game this year, much less go to the NFC championship game. I actually was at a radio station in DC at some point in this past summer, and they covered the Commanders, and none of them really thought that they would actually get this far. It was amazing to talk to them and be with them and then see where they are now. It's kind of a funny thing. So yeah, we might have to make a video about the Commanders too. The next game is the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this game got really interesting at the end. The Rams had a really good opportunity to potentially steal this game in Philadelphia, but ultimately the Rams just couldn't get it done on 4th down, ultimately turning the ball over on downs, and the Eagles held on for the win. They are going to the NFC title game. Saquon Barkley ran all over the Rams yet again. He had 255 yards in their first meeting. He had 205 yards in this game, along with 2 touchdowns. So the Rams could do nothing to stop him. And honestly, having 460 total rushing yards against one team in a season is insane. That's ridiculous. They just could not stop him for anything. The Rams didn't even play a terrible game. They've been a pretty solid team, all things considered. But when you really look at their team on the field, you looked at the games, you didn't really have that much confidence that they were going to be a legit Super Bowl contender. They were one of those teams that they needed everything to go right in order for them to really contend. But ultimately, I have to give props to the Rams. I believe they were a solid team. I do think they were the best team in the NFC West this year. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, you guys. My favorite team is the San Francisco 49ers. So just being completely unbiased, the Rams were better than the 49ers this year. Even when the 49ers had their guys, it just didn't seem like they were the same team from last year. So the Rams definitely, I think, have a lot of pieces to build on next season. They've got some really solid young pieces, and they're drafting well. I think that's another thing. The Rams do a really good job at drafting, so I think the Rams will be fine. But the Eagles, they just look like it's their year, and I think the only reason the Eagles don't win a Super Bowl this year is if they don't figure out their passing attack, which has been kind of iffy their last couple of games. I believe that Jalen Hurts and this Eagles passing attack has got to figure it out, especially if they want to beat the Commanders, who their offense is clicking right now. Finally, we got the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. This game had a lot of eyes. This is easily going to be the game that everybody was watching. I said this is going to be the best game of the divisional, and that might be debatable with the Commanders-Lions game, but this game was heartbreaking for a lot of people in Baltimore, just simply based off of Mark Andrews' performance. I mean, it was inexcusable the way he kind of just sold the game, but I don't want to just put all the blame on Mark Andrews. I do believe he deserves the blame for fumbling the drive before that could have gave the Ravens the lead and dropping the 2-point conversion. But Lamar Jackson, he fumbled in the first half and he threw an interception. We cannot forget those things. The Ravens defense just seemed like they couldn't get a stop at all on the Bills offense, especially their running attack. Josh Allen did not have to do much for the Bills to win this game. And in my humble opinion, I don't really think the Bills did much to win this game. I think the Ravens simply beat themselves. I'm going to make a video about the Baltimore Ravens, and I really would stay tuned for that because it might be a tough watch for Ravens fans. So the first game we're going to talk about is the Commanders and the Eagles. I think this is going to be a fun matchup just because nobody expected the Commanders to be here. And I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to say the Washington Commanders are going to beat the Eagles and advance to the Super Bowl. I'm going to be the one to be brave enough and pick the team that nobody's probably going to pick. And I'm going to go with the Commanders. I'm going to go with the underdogs. I would love to see the Commanders in the Super Bowl. I think their offense is great. I think defensively they have some holes, obviously, and I think their lack of a run defense against Saquon Barkley is going to be a challenge, but I do think the Commanders have enough offensively to win this game. Finally, we got the Chiefs and the Bills, and I know a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about Josh Allen, and I believe they should because a lot of people have a lot to say about Lamar Jackson when he lost, but Josh Allen has not beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs at all. I believe he is 0-3 all time against Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. And it needs to be known that he needs to win this game, especially since he is in MVP conversations. He needs to win this game. Ultimately, I think in Arrowhead, I think the Bills, who have a better team than people think they do, but I just don't trust that offense as much, even though they do have a bad offense. They have a good offense. I just feel like the Chiefs' defense is better than Baltimore, and at least has been consistently speaking. I like Kansas City's pass rush. I think the Chiefs honestly are a better team than the Ravens, and I think they showed that this past weekend. And most of the season, I thought the Ravens were the better team, but I think come playoff time, Kansas City always takes it to the next level, and I can admit I've been wrong. I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Bills. I think we're going to get Chiefs and Commanders in the Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and I will catch you guys in my next video. I appreciate all the support. Thank you. See you guys in my next video. Peace.